Hi, this is Joe Passy. I'm one of the sales engineers here at Comtrend, and I'd like to introduce you to a hidden feature available in our telco-grade CPE called Save Default. This feature can be found by going to the default IP address of the modem, normal default being 192.168.1.1, then add a / save default to the end as seen here. This feature will save the current running configuration in the modem as customized default settings. These will not be erased by normal reset behaviors such as pressing the reset button in the back of the unit or clicking on Restore Default Settings button in the web interface. With the Save Default feature, you can go through and configure the CPE in any way that you deem fit for your network. Then, once that you are satisfied with the settings, you can go to the hidden page and click on the Save Default button and save the configuration of the CPE. This is essentially the next best thing to custom code where the settings are embedded in the firmware. So now I can click on Restore Default Settings or hold the reset button for 10 seconds or more and the configuration will be kept after the unit boots back up. This saves the time of having to go through the entire configuration again to set the unit back to my desired settings. This can be used for things like virtual server entries, ADSL, VDSL, or Ethernet configurations, DHCP static entries, custom LAN IPs, or even custom wireless settings, etc. One good example I like to recommend this feature for is PPPoE deployments. Some providers could use this feature for saving PPPoE credentials on a customer's router who might frequently forget their username and password. If they often hit the reset button and lose their username and password, this feature is a great way to prevent that from happening again. Simply enter their username and password in the normal PPPoE fields, then navigate to the hidden Save Default page and click the Save Default button. One thing I would note, this feature can only be used with the root account, and there are two ways in which you can clear the Save Default. One would be to click on the Clear Default Setting button in the Save Default page. The other would be to hold the reset button in for 60 seconds or longer and then power cycle the unit. Here is an example of going through and using this in a PPPoE configuration. If I was to hit Edit, enter the username as test, enter the password as test, hit Next, apply and save, on a normal network, this would have allowed you to obtain your IP address and get you connected to the network. However, if I was to go in and I had not hit the Save Default setting and I was to click Restore Default Settings, the username and password would be lost. But after entering the username and password, if I go to that Save Default page, click the Save Default button, here we can see the current configuration has been saved. I can then go back to the home page and I can feel comfortable going to Management, Settings, Restore Default, and restoring this unit back to its default settings. Once the modem has booted back up, I'll be able to go back to that same PPPoE username and password fields, and you would be able to see that the test username and test password are still there. So that if I was connected to a normal network, the username and password would not have been lost, and the user would still be able to connect to their network. Here we can see the CPE has booted back up. We're going to go ahead and log back in, and we can navigate to the PPPoE area where we can enter in the credentials, and you can see that the username and password is still there. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a holler. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.